Okay, let me be clear. I'm gonna say it up front that I don't like K-pop. Not Korean as a whole, just the K-pop. I just think that this Hallyu movement is such a great propaganda to sell Korea as a romantic, beautiful, and peaceful culture. Nah, that's my hot takes, and I'm sorry if I, well, maybe triggered anyone, but no, I don't hate Korea. Yeah, that's first hot take, yeah, and that will be more in this video. I'm visiting Korea a long time ago in 2000. When I went there, the K-pop finest artist still Fin KL with song Hyekyo. Yeah, I'm that old. And when I came there, the guide practically said that welcome to Korea. This is a funny country because only in this country that we, the Korean, admit that we really adore beauty. And you know, Korea have beautiful standards, which is kind of, I don't know, cruel if you ask me. And the guide is a woman, and she said that Korean usually look like me. She showed her chin. It's kind of blocky and kind of not feminine, and they said this is how Koreans supposed to look like. And if you sing beautiful Korea on the street, beautiful Korea artist, beautiful Korea or handsome Korean, it's probably a work of plastic surgery, because it's this culture in Korea. For a Sweet 17 present, they were I don't know how to say it, they kind of have this, not privileged, but it's a culture to give their children plastic surgery, and that is crazy. And I don't blame the that movement, Korean movement, because it is a great propaganda. Because when I went to Korea in early 2000, the Korea that I know is really like a hardcore version of China and Triad, like Hong Kong Triad, because everything is so masculine, everything is so buff, it's so, yeah. And that's my first impression about Korea as a country and as a culture. And after that, I watched many older Korean movies, you know, Old Boy, Bedeviled, and of course this movie I Saw the Devil, about a gritty Korea. Maybe I will admit this is kind of like exaggerating in violence, but yeah, that's the Korea that I once knew. That somehow it's different at the moment, and it's good. I guess the K-pop culture is really changed the culture in Korea as a whole, because right now Korean is seen as a beautiful, soft, and romantic people, which is good. But still, this is my kind of Korea, and this is the review as one of my favorite movie from Korea called I Saw the Devil. I Saw the Devil is a 2010 South Korean action thriller film directed by Kim Jee-woon and written by Park Hoon-jung. It's starring Lee Byung-hun, the guy from, probably watched that terrible movie, G.I. Joe. Yeah, he played in one of those movies. And also Choi Min-sik as the antagonist, the serial killer in the movie. And so the story is about a revenge movie. It's about how this serial killer just killed a girl which happened to be pregnant, and she is a future wife of our protagonist. And our protagonist is in a secret service, I guess, in Korean, like bodyguard to the president or something. So yeah, after he discovered that her future wife is butchered, killed, and I don't know, maybe rape and all sort of that cruel shit like that. And also, she is pregnant. Our protagonist is making a promise to her and himself that he will make this killer to be suffered 10,000 fold than what he did to her lover, to her future wife. And that's the premise of the whole movie, yeah, about a revenge movie. Using his privilege as a secret service, our protagonist using every tool he got, like a spy gadget and all that stuff, to track and exact revenge to the killer. And in the short time, he managed to do Batman-like crusading. He beat him up couple of suspect. He beat up criminal, rapists, and sort of something like that, until he finally find the man who do that thing to his future wife. And you can see how the violence is glorified in this movie, and I love it. I mean, you can feel all the bone crushing, all the punch, the kick, and the torture scene. This is really good movie, but it's kind of weird. I know the protagonist is make a promise that he will make the antagonist suffer like a dozen billion times, but I don't know if his methods is good. I mean, he thinks that if he just beat the shit out of the antagonist and just let him go in order to make him feel okay, I'm survived, maybe he will be, I don't know what he's really thing at this moment, because this is dumb if you ask me. Our protagonist think if he just failed the antagonist attempt every time he tried to kill, rape, and do the same thing to everyone else, it might make him suffer. I don't know. He just wanna conflicting pain to the antagonist in the way that he probably think he knows at that moment. I mean, it's like he's doing some play or fun things with this antagonist, like a catch and release mechanism. Like if you're catching a fish and you just let it go and maybe catch it again and let it go, catch it again. But I don't know, it's dumb, I think. I mean, we are facing a psychopath, and this antagonist is really a dangerous person, dangerous people. And you think that, let's just say this antagonist is always like a predator in the top of the food chain, and you just making him feel like a rabbit, and you just cornered it to the corner. What do you think will happen? Because even a rabbit, if it get cornered, he will do the last desperate movement to protect himself. And that is what happened in this movie. Our antagonist finally know how the main protagonist track him, and he do the exact revenge against our protagonist. And if you think that our protagonist don't have anything left to lose, no, it is very wrong. Our protagonist still have the family, still have the people he care about, and that's what happened. Our antagonist exact revenge to them, and it's only escalated far away beyond that. And if you like me, you like to watch violent movie, you love to watch triad movie, yakuza movie, mafia movie, you know that this sort of thing never ends well for everyone. And this is what exactly happened in this movie. You can see there is no victory in this movie. There is no good versus evil. It's just a couple of people doing bad things, and Well, bad things also happens again and again and again. This is like a vicious cycle of violence that need to be stopped. Yeah, this is that type of movie, but I know this is not for everyone, but this is a very, very good movie. Even if you don't like violence, you just should watch it just to see how crazy humanity can be. I mean, I love how they managed to make this movie. No, not make this movie. Not they managed to make the world in this movie so violence to the point of exaggeration. I mean, it's like there are so many horrible things happen in Korea. You can get killed, you can get raped. It happens all the time. There are so many psychopaths, and you see in this movie that there is like some sort of club of psychopaths in this movie, which is cool and weird, but still, I mean, and also, just to the point why I brought the plastic surgery stuff before. I love how no matter how pretty or how sexy you are in Korea, because it is the culture to plastic surgery. They don't give a shit even if you're hot or something. Every woman in this movie is getting punched, getting fucked, getting killed, getting raped. Just like what happened if you're not good looking in the real life. I mean, that's how crazy and how violent this movie is. This is like, wow. I don't know if I could really recommend this movie to people who doesn't love violent movie, but this is a good movie. I mean, you should try and give it a chance to see it. I bet you will be astonished to see how good this movie is. And one thing that bothers me is the methods that our protagonist do to exact his revenge to the antagonist. I mean, if you want to torture the guy, why don't you just catch the antagonist, keep it in the basement, and torture him until he beg for his life or something like that? I mean, it's easier. You could just catch him, like you already did several times in this movie, chain him, beat the shit out of him, cut his leg or something, maybe a little burn or something. Just, I mean, there are so many ways to hurt people. Not like that I know to do something like that. So, in conclusion, I think you should try and watch this movie. This movie is awesome. I know it's an old movie and you probably already watched it. Just watch it again. This is not a movie for the whole family, especially if you like Korea as in K-pop and K-drama and sort of something like that. But this is a good movie. I mean, this is like playing The Last of Us 2. I know it's not a good comparison, and people said Last of Us 2 is sucks compared to the prequel, but this movie is how do I say it without being, I don't know, let's just say just like The Last of Us and other Yakuza triad mafia movie. It shows how violence only lead to another violence. It's a never-ending circle that sometimes the only way to stop it is just to stop, forgive, and move on. And that's not what happened in this movie, I guess. You can see how crazy it is, and I don't think the ending might satisfy anyone, but it's a food for thought and make you thinking, is it worth it? All that violence, all the revenge. I know revenge is a dish better served cold, but sometimes you just have to let go and move on. Yeah. All in all, great movie. My kind of Korean movie. I mean, you should try and watch another violent type Korean movie. It's awesome. It's so perfect, if you ask me. Not that soapy drama, melodramatic, romantic Korea, the modern days. I prefer this one.